This is my totally unique Lian-Li build. It is gorgeous. It was an absolute dream to build in. It's highly customizable and has been one of the worst PC building experiences I've ever had. Now, I don't say that lightly. I am someone who has had 3 wisdom teeth removed, and trust me, this was far more excruciating. I genuinely hate it so much that I'm not just replacing it with another ecosystem. I think I've just about had enough with ARGB altogether. And it's not just me with these problems either. The Lian-Li subreddit is littered with people who have been utterly defeated by Lian-Li, and specifically their TL-LCDs in general. Let's begin with the premise. Not just because of the Lian-Li fanboys furiously typing below, but I need to establish some semblance of credibility, right? And remember, this is just my unfiltered experience, garnished with some memes. Your experience may have been far, far better, but I don't really give a shit. I have no brand deals to lose, relatively no subscribers or viewers. I don't care. In all honesty, I love building PCs. I've been doing it for about 20 years. I've built systems from budget to high-end ones like this, and I enjoy creating systems around particular budgets, and always go with single ecosystems to manage the chances of conflict between RGB softwares installed on the same machine. Take, for example, IQ and NZXT Cam on the same machine, or Chroma and Heights Nexus, and the like. We all know that installing different softwares from different vendors to control RGB can cause a lot of system instability. I have built using Corsair's IQ Legacy, IQ Link, Armory Crate, Signal RGB, just to name a few. And believe me when I say, all of said softwares are far, far from perfect. But I judge all of them based on price. The issue is that Lian-Li is not cheap. Each of these 140mm TL LCDs were almost 50 British pounds, or 60 American rubles. Right now you can get a 3-pack of Arctic ARGB fans for less than a single TL LCD. Granted, it won't have an LCD screen in the center, but you get my point. It is still a rotating piece of plastic pushing air with some fancy Christmas lights. So I'm going to tackle my issues in chronological order so you can see why I've come to this decision to euthanize the system. I placed my order at the end of Feb 2024. The O11 Vision chassis, which by the way is close to perfect, arrived with no rubber grommets for the EPS cutout and the cutout next to it. Lian-Li do have a tiny blurb about this on their website, affecting a small number of users. Anyway, to remedy this, they recommend ordering some grommets from their store on AliExpress or using their contact form. Thankfully now the AliExpress store has a UK shipping option, but it didn't back in Feb when I was trying to get my hands on one. The contact form of theirs is nothing short of a hot mess, and one of my largest frustrations. Example, even if you have a software issue, you are still required to enter your full address. I get it, if they need to replace a part, they have your address on hand, but apart from the privacy issues of putting your data everywhere, you need to do this every single time you fill in the form. Just let me register my products, and then the next time I fill it in, it's all there. The form also has pointless fields that don't filter based on your selections. Look at this.
Okay, TL-LCD, that's what I need output. Want the black one, please. Can I choose white? Color? I just chose the, okay. What? Can I choose the black after, what? What?
Oh, can you just be a form? Anyway, grommets arrived and all is well, right? Whenever I would switch on my PC, one of the LCDs on the fans just wouldn't work, or the AIO on the screen would be blank. The LEDs on the fans would be working just fine, but the screen would just be blank. The only way to remedy this was to restart the PC after switching it on every single time. One of their suggestions was to swap the orientation of the fans. Do you have any idea how annoying that is? Unscrewing the AIO, taking off the fans, putting it back, reorientation. Regardless, they said that this problem was going to be solved in an upcoming software release. But there was another problem, and I soon uncovered probably the worst part of Lian-Li. If the fans were a thorn in my side, this was the bullet to my cranium. And this is their Alconnect software. I had a full head of hair when I started building this PC.
And now that is all wrecked.
Example, on version 2.0.13, when trying to set a fan curve, it was impossible for you to use the GPU as a sensor for your fan profile. I wanted this, so if my GPU started to get a bit warm, the fans at the bottom would ramp up to keep her cool. When you selected GPU as a sensor, as soon as you clicked apply on the fan curve, the software would just immediately revert to CPU. I tried uninstalling, reinstalling, looking away when I clicked apply. Just nothing worked. I guess I'm gonna have to fill in that damn form again, aren't I? The only resolution was to use an older version, 2.0.11, to get this to work, which meant the stupid blank LCD issue. Anyway, I chose this as the lesser of two evils, as I'd rather restart my PC every single time and keep my GPU cool. Might I add, rolling back their software, or upgrading for that matter, is no easy task. You have to uninstall their software from control panel, then run a batch file in administrator mode, or manually delete some files, restart, install the version that you want, which at that time was only available via some dodgy Google link drive, and then restart again and run through all your settings. No, I am not joking. I would rather castrate what's left of myself with no anesthetic than do that again.
Look, new version out, these buttons do not do anything. Useful as an ashtray on a motorcycle.
I'm not mad. Everything's fine. Everything's fine. Lian-Li again promised there was going to be a software fix for this. Again, I waited. A few months into this build is when the hardware problem started to begin. I started hearing like a faint grinding noise, similar to when a cable is in contact with the spinning fan blade. I opened up and checked and rechecked all of my cable management, and there was nothing in contact with any of the fans. The noise progressively started to get audibly louder, and then it clicked. I'd known this sound. It had been when I'd bought a cheap 3-pack of DC fans from a street vendor who also sold sweets and cigarettes. This was the beginning of a bad fan bearing. I was praying with everything in my being that this was not going to be one of the radiator fans, as that would have just sucked. Thankfully, it was one of the rear exhaust fans, which meant just taking out 8 screws. And credit to Lian-Li here, no cables to manage thanks to their exceptional daisy chain unifan system. I got in touch with overclockers, who I bought everything from, by the way, and they suggested I just contact Lian-Li directly if I wanted to, as they would just send me a new one as opposed to having to RMA the broken one, wait for them to confirm that it's broken, send a new one back. But I thought of having to fill in that damn contact form again, and that gave me severe PTSD, so I just said no thanks, and after a few weeks I'd RMA'd a new fan from overclockers. A single exhaust fan just did fine for the time being anyway. Overclockers are great, by the way. Not a sponsored segue, but they just have a lot of my money, and their customer support and product selection. Regardless, this is where I'd wished issues ended. After a month or so, the Lian-Li wireless system was released, and with the update brought some new features and a whole lot of new bugs to L-Connect. Every time I switched on my PC, I had to manually arrange the order of the LCD fans. And just one of the fans would show up in the software, and I had to reset the entire system in order to get them all just to appear for me to rearrange them. Bruh, I just wanted to press the on button, play some games, get annihilated by some noob, and just try my best not to get teabagged. I don't want to have to go through a 7-step process and solve the mystery of the universe when I switch on my PC. And this is the problem, especially when forking out premium prices for this. I guess it's back to that damn contact form again. I am sincerely questioning my life choices right now. Lian-Li said this fan arrangement problem was going to be fixed in another software update. Blood starts to boil. Blood starts to boil. Fast forward a month and I noticed my AIO screen starting to flicker. While gaming, I'd get that USB disconnect and reconnect sound over and over and over again. I am Jack's volcanic rage. Am I really going to have to fill in that damn form again? This is not a cheap AIO by any means, so I guess I'm going to have to if I want it to work properly, aren't I? Anyway, I get a response from Lian-Li, who confirmed this to be a faulty AIO screen, and they're going to be sending me a replacement. A week goes by. Nothing. I send a follow-up email. Nothing. A month goes by and another follow-up. Still nothing. 2 months go by and I really do not want to have to remove the AIO to get it RMA'd from overclockers. And I finally get a reply. After close to 3 months, the new screen arrives. And is it a simple replacement process?
Got him!
You have to remove the entire pump, wipe off the thermal paste, take apart the pump cover assembly, swap some cables, reassemble, repaste, and screw the pump back onto the board. I'm done. I can't. I just can't. This is like the stupidest game of cat and mouse I have ever experienced. And it really shouldn't have to be like this, especially with expensive high-end components. Had I have built this PC for a friend or worse, a customer, my time would have been tied up for the next decade resolving these issues. I know it. I would have felt like a total scumbag having built a system like this for someone, and if someone, especially for someone less tech savvy, would have just had to try and make head and tails of all of this. This is going to sound hypocritical, but on the real, I genuinely do like Lian-Li. They might be, in my opinion, one of, if not the best chassis manufacturer out there. My work machine still uses the A4H2O, and I think that case is pretty perfect. Their Unifan daisy chain system revolutionized everything and is amazing. They're also innovating way more than any other brand in the space. I mean, look at the Strimmers, the Edge PSU, now with detachable USB and PWM headers. Literally no one else is doing that, and everyone is playing catch up. The HydroShift AIO, so clean. But I think this is the double-edged sword for them. Now, I'm just speculating here. But it seems like they're just after the next big thing, trying to release too many products and seemingly half-baked software, with their devs just struggling to keep up with the product development team. These fans are not even a year old, and I'm already riddled with issues. I have a feeling their software side is a lot better on the SL Infinities and possibly even the wireless versions, but I guess I will never know. I am not touching anything like this for a very long time. But I might give their P28s a shout, but I think they also need to work on the QC, to be honest. Missing parts, broken fans, and AIOs all in the same build. Did I just fall from a bad luck tree and hit every single branch on the way down, nuts first? So currently, with the state their software is in, combined with their slow service and quality issues, I can't recommend these. Again, and I keep coming back to this, I can't imagine having built the system for a friend or a customer and then me having to provide support like this. It would have been a complete cluster, you know what. So in my next video, I'm actually going to be downsizing this build significantly.
About 15 grand in it or more if we have to. Overnight parts from Japan.
And this little bad boy, which I have never used before and is not very well known. So stay tuned for that one. I'll catch you guys in the next one. See ya.
Definitely guinea pigs, gerbils, hamsters, anything, you know, rodentia.
Rodentia, yeah.
Once you popped up into like rabbits, I was out.
When you...
Oh my God, bro.
You okay, buddy?
What happened? Was that a hate crime? Are we gay?